let's look at questions about that first. Everybody feel okay with that?
Yes, sir.
The height, switch, the grips, the takedown. Okay, let's talk about side control. So when we're here, like this, right? When we first get into side control, the arm configuration can be different for different purposes, right? I can have both arms over here. I can have one under his head, one over, one back, one over here like this, both back. A lot of that depends on his energy, how much he's turning in and driving into me, how flat he is, or how much he's trying to go that way. Typically, like a decent rule of thumb, and again, this is a loose rule, but a decent rule to kind of think about right now when you're trying to correct your position is the more he's coming into me, the more I need to sprawl, right? So the more I need my legs pushed out here like this, and probably trying to drive his face away like this here, right? The more he's going that way, the more I'm gonna bunch everything in tight, right? And try to like get my knees and elbows in together. So that, for right now, that's a pretty good thing to think, like whenever you're grading your performance in side control and if you have any trouble with your positions. The one I want to look at right now is just like how from here to isolate his arms, because like when we're here, he doesn't want me to be like too heavy and too tight, so he's making space wherever he can. This is a good space maker here where he's keeping the upper part of his forearm or his wrist into my hip, like that. And that can cause me some problems because that's going to create a gap and he's going to be able to replace a guard or maybe start an uphill escape sometimes. So like here, to isolate that arm, I don't want to just try to like go to his body underneath it like that. I want to drop all the way down. So I'm going to switch my hips and take this leg here down to touch his hip, right? So I'm posting out, making a gap, dropping this into his hip, and then I'm going to slide that all the way up his body here until it's on my elbow. Now there's still a little gap of space, and I'm going to seal that up and cut his arm off from his body. So I'm going to scoop him up underneath me like that. There's this little like reverse kind of frog hop unit just here. That is what I'm doing. Once I do that, this arm here gets kind of cut away from his body, and it's hard for him to get back in my hip now, right? Now, at that point, I can bring this arm over and pinch in with the knees and the elbows. And now I'm really isolating this arm. Typically, whenever this arm is cut away and it's between my two arms, I can start to attack it now. Doesn't matter if he's hugging or if he's trying to get back in the frame or whatever. The first one I want to look at though is I'm just going to kind of let him kind of hang himself here. So what I want to look to do is take my south side hand here and bring it up like this. And I'm just coming loosely to my forearm. My top hand here, the one I can touch his head with, the back of that hand's going to my forehead like this. So now I'm in this position here. I know, the reason I'm doing this is because I know I've collected the data that what he wants to do now, since he can't get in my hip, he wants to get this forearm under my neck, right? So he'll come here like this to frame, to make space here. It's gonna be hard this way for him to come up this direction, so he wants to bring it around, yes, and when he does, he puts it right in my hand. So I'm just kind of setting this trap, keeping here like this. When he brings that one around, I snap the trap shut. Be careful because where my forearm is located, it's already a lot of pressure on his shoulder. So don't slam this down to the ground on your partner. Just capture quickly here. Yeah, and just a little bitty rev sometimes gets it. If this doesn't get it, then I'm gonna take his fingers and slide them toward his toes, this way. But I want the elbows pulled in nice and tight, and I want this kind of configuration on the wrist, not this here. If I hold here and Derek wants to straighten, it's easy. Right? If I hold here and he wants to straighten, it's much harder. So the process, one quick time. Here, he starts in my hip. I open, drop my knee all the way to his hip over here. Slide it up like this. Scoop until my elbow is inside my knee. Then I transfer my arm over to this other side so both arms are here. I set the trap by taking the hand that can touch his leg. I put that one on my forearm. I put the back of this hand on my forehead so that whenever he decides he's going to bring this one back in front, I catch his wrist here, push down, slide the hands close together like this, squeeze the elbows in, and then push his wrist to the floor. Okay? Questions? Does all make sense? All right, let's go.